Dun, dun, dun. Ba-dum. Dum, bum, 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 bum. Welcome to KillCo Whiskey Musings. My name is Brian, and it's that time of year. The time that every single whiskey tube person in the world decides to do some kind of advent calendar whiskey everyday thing. And I'm all in. First things first, it's better. And yes, this year we are doing the Flaviar Whiskies of the Galaxy. Not sponsored at all. This was donated to the channel by Mama KillCo, who is my mother. Thanks, Mom. And their theme is Whiskies of the Galaxy. Fun part is for this, I have absolutely no clue what they would have put in this thing, considering. But first, I'll read what's on the inside of the box because I think it's pretty funny. The box in front of you is the spaceship that will propel you on an interstellar Christmas odyssey through the Whiskeyverse. I love the idea of there being a Whiskeyverse. The Glencairn glass will be your vessel, and the booklet your hitchhiker's guide, as you open each of the 24 portals to a constellation of new flavors. Countdowns are usually waiting periods of nerve-wracking expectation, but with Flaviar's calendar, the countdown is the point. 24 days of Advent and 24 undiscovered whiskey worlds. Let this be your launchpad, explorer. Go where your palate has not been before. Here be dragons, not for long. You'll be expanding your map of spirits by conquering new drams. You might even find your next favorite planet this Christmas. It's one small step for your taste buds, one giant leap for your spiritual journey. May the spirits be with you. Corny? Yes. Amazing? Also yes. And I'll show you this as best I can because it reflects everything. But as you can see, there are numbers scattered all over it. So I have to find out where number 1 is. But first, a Glencairn hiding in here, I believe. Like Show and Tell or Mr. Rogers or something. Okay. Once again, I don't know what Flaviar has in this box. So I'm very curious to find out this month. But I should also point out it's going to be exhausting, and a lot of these are not going to be videos. It's going to be me flipping on the camera, doing a short stream, telling you the tasting notes. It's just, it's for my own mental health, I promise. You can, however, go back and see all the other Advent kind of stuff I've done over the years. Starting from about 3 years ago. I'll look that up here. Don't know what this is. It's flat and round. Ooh, I think this is a coaster. There you go. Flaviar coaster. Booyah. Either that or I'm supposed to eat it, and it doesn't look very appetizing. In all honesty, I didn't even know that I was poking the wrong one, so glad I found that. Ow. Oh, shiny. Try not to destroy the booklet when taking it out. There we go. Reflect on your whiskey choices. Here's a whiskey verse for you to explore. This better not tell me what they all are, because I'm going to be very annoyed if it does. I'll check the first one after I open the first one. Sound good? Sound good. There's a Glencairn in here. This is going to take a bit of time for me to get out. God, it's wedged in there. I feel like I'm going to shatter it. Like if I tried to take it out the wrong way. Thankfully, Glencairns are fairly sturdy, but still. Day one, day one, day one. Where is day one? It's both cool and very annoying that they made all these numbers look different. And I'll never understand why they don't put them in order. I guess they just want you to find them. It's more of a thing. Oh, whatever. Number 1 is hiding down here. Oh, come in little vials. Oh, and they're stuck. Got it. I don't know what it is yet. 1. Bottled by Alamo Distilling Company, San Antonio, Texas. It's interesting. It doesn't actually say what it is on the label. I guess that's what the book is for. Let me put this thing away before I hurt myself. I just would like to point out that there's a Glencairn with the earth in it and a little planet, and they got lips a la freaking Rocky Horror Picture Show host. Welcome aboard, Whiskey Knot. There's the next one. It looks like Cupid on the moon. More words! I know your favorite. You really want me to get to the whiskey, but look, more words! And there we go. Product of the USA. 44%. Am I planning to drink this entire 50 milliliters tonight? Yes. This feels so weird to open. Okay, there we go. Oh, wow. This never feels like a safe thing to do, but... Wow, it's a lot. Actually, yeah. Perfect. Alright, let's begin. It looks great. Did I clean the Flaviar Glencairn first? No, because I'm an animal. We begin with the color. It's actually kind of light. Right about here, I'd say. As for the appearance, the color is pale straw. Clarity is clear. Sediments, I do not see any. Viscosity, well, unfortunately, they do give me the percentage, so I know what that is. And honestly, I don't see a lot going on with legs here. It's just kind of sticking to the side and very slowly rolling down the edges, like very, 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 very slowly. Which is peculiar considering it is only 44%. Begin nosing technique. Oh, that's sweet like a bourbon. Getting like caramel. There's something almost floral about it. And it also seems like there's a bit of a char note. I just had the thought graham cracker, honey. Just thought of the ocean for a moment. There's something a little smoky about this. I'm calling it a char note, but I can't tell if it's charcoal or some kind of ash note. This is bizarre. I do enjoy the fact I'm doing this blind, though. If it's not a bourbon, I'd be very surprised. Because it's got all the characteristics of bourbon. Caramel, sweet. Wish I could figure out what that flowery note is. I gotta try and speed through these because I do have many of these to do, and I need to cut this short. So editing isn't a problem, and also when I do them live, I won't have a problem. Intensity 2. Age moderate. And by moderate for a bourbon, I usually mean between 6 and 10 years. I know a lot of bourbons get released, 4 years, 6 years, that kind of thing. Barrel, if this is a bourbon, it was new oak. See, I know a few things. I got a few things memorized. Oh, grain, hello. This is going to be... If it's a bourbon, it's mostly corn. But the rest of it is where it gets tricky, because it could be wheat, it could be rye. For the most part, it's either rye or wheat and then malt. One of the few times I can say there's a light smoke on this, and that's only because it's either a charcoal thing or a ash thing I'm getting. The spices aren't that intense. In fact, the spices aren't much at all. There is some sort of hint of what I'll call anise, but for my nose, palate, whatever, oftentimes I just lump anise and eucalyptus and black licorice. All those are kind of mushed together. But for this instance, I will say a bit of anise. As far as spiciness, there really isn't much here. Okay. I will say a hint of white pepper. I have no actual recollection what white pepper smells like. However, that's what just popped in my head now. Rolling with it. On to sweet. Caramel, definitely. Ooh, butterscotch sounds pretty good too. Honey, something else I said. A little vanilla. I mean, it is a bourbon. Those usually hand in hand. Floral. I need to smell a bunch of flowers someday. It has a floral note. I just don't know what it is. I don't think there's any wine involved in this. However, since it seems very muted, it's a possibility. And fruit? I'm not pulling any fruit out of this, which is odd. Sometimes I do. I guess sometimes with bourbons I just don't. There's no sulfur in this, and there's no peat in this. For earth, dried leaves, and a slight wood note. On to the palate. First sip done. It was enjoyable, but there was nothing about it that really caught my attention. So, second sip, hold it on the palate briefly, and then move on. Oh, that brought some chocolate. Hello. Oh, and it's spicy. Oh, so much better if you hold it on the tongue. Yep, it's sweet initially. It's a good sweetness, but it's quick. And then it goes fairly dry, but in a good way, if that makes sense. Probably not. Either cocoa or chocolate. A little bit of spice, a little bit of peppery spice. Not too many pinprickles on the tongue, but that's usually what I equate to spicy to, if there's a little prickly sensation on the tongue. And then it's dry, and it just stays that way. I like this whiskey, but it is 44%, and that's any percentage that's lower than 45 is going to bother me. But for an introductory bourbon, and I think of Flaviar as a introductory whiskey program, we'll say, I think this is pretty good. Pilot phase 2. Flavor, sweet. I am so perplexed for some of it because I bounce back and forth between bitter and umami, and maybe even salty, but I'm just going to stick with sweet. That is the initial flavor I get. Proof 2. Why 2, you may ask? Because 40% is low and 50% is 3. Body of this, 2. It's not extremely impressive. It's still enjoyable. As for the texture itself, it's light. I feel like I want to say more about it, but I know I'm just diving into the effect after the fact. But as far as how it feels initially, it's fairly light. It's not watery, is what I'm saying. It still feels light. It's still fairly easy to drink, but it doesn't seem like it's watered down, which is a very good thing per my palate because I take a lot out of texture and mouthfeel. As for balance, does any note dominate? Dry. It is sweet, a little bit spicy, and then the dry note sticks and is a finish. And as far as the finish goes, I feel as if I have to say 4. While doing this, I take sips fairly frequently to try and work out the palate, but when I stop, and still feel as if my tongue is all dried out. So 4. Complexity 2, it is not overly complicated, but it is enjoyable. And now we will find out more about this whiskey. Drum roll, please. Hello. Oh, I love the way they did this.
Wyoming Whiskey. Caramel, vanilla cream, butter, malted barley, floral, spice, and one of my favorites right there, savory, which is why I seem to get that umami note and why I think I thought of the ocean briefly. So there you go. I've only had Wyoming once, and it was a very long time ago. I did like it. We also have raisin on there, right under the caramel. This is an enjoyable one, but it's been a very long time since I had it.
Big relief in realizing it is a bourbon. That's going to be the most disturbing thing about doing these, is they've thrown in Scotches and Japanese and Irish, and just trying to figure out that part, which I feel like I can do. I'm not sure. I won't know until I try. Yeah. Hey, I looked this up on my phone, so pardon me looking down like this, but that's where my phone is going to be, and I will tell you what they say about it. Wyoming Whiskey Small Batch Bourbon Whiskey. 7.7 out of 10 stars. And it costs $40.99. I used to talk about prices a long time ago, but then I just kind of forgot, and they are a regional kind of thing, so meh. But this is something you can buy online. Again, not sponsored. I should look at the flavor spiral on this one first, because it's just a hell of a lot easier for me to read.
As you see, vanilla cream, a little spicy, caramel, butter, floral, malted barley, mint, raisin, and savory.
They have an about section, and I feel I'm obligated to read it. A real deal handcrafted bourbon made 100% from scratch on site in Wyoming. At Wyoming Whiskey, they are proud of their estate and their spirits. The distillery was founded in 2009 by Kate and Brad Mead and their friend David DeFazio, but they had the help of an experienced guiding hand. Steve Daly, former master distiller at Maker's Mark. The first commercial whiskey was released at a 4-year-old in 2012, but they state that all current whiskeys are a minimum of 5 years old. Importantly, they state loud and clear that none of their spirits are sourced. Every drop is distilled and aged on site at their facility in the Big Horn Basin of Wyoming. All the grains are farmed within 100 miles, and the water comes from a local well sunk into an ancient limestone aquifer. And you just gotta respect that. Doing it the hardcore way, where it's locally sourced and made only by you on your place. Oh, all this information. We all love information. Category: bourbon. Country: United States. Region: Wyoming. Distillery: Wyoming Whiskey. Age: no age statement. Style: single barrel. Alcohol: 44%. Tasting notes. This is great. This fits right into what I usually do. Appearance / color: dark amber. Nose: the nose is strong with raisins and floral notes and a dash of caramel. A dash? The flavor, or the palate. I like how it gives me options here. It's nose, aroma, and smell, and then flavor, taste, and palate. The palate. The flavor is both sweet and a little savory, with a bright, full mouthfeel and notes of rancio. R-A-N-C-I-O. I don't know what that is. Caramel, brown butter, baking spice, and a hint of mint. I believe that mint thing they got is what I thought was anise. Finish. The finish is medium to long with a trailing vanilla cream and spice mix. I thought it was just mostly dry, with a little bit of spice in the middle. Vanilla cream, though, that's a favorite of mine, and I didn't really get that on here. They have so much weird stuff on their site. They have Dogson, Smartass Corner, not going there. They have this weird, some kind of elk goat thing. I don't even know what it is. Here, I'll show you.
There's Doggerson on the Smartass Corner. And then their rating and review section. A splendid rating indeed. Look at that thing. What is that?
There you have it, folks. This has been a very enjoyable experience for me. I am looking forward to doing all of these this month because that was fun. I love the idea that they told me to go in blind. That didn't even occur to me when I started this. My initial thought was look at what it is and then go through the whole process. But if I go through the whole process first, then look at what it is, that's a hell of a lot more fun to me, and I'm definitely going to do that for every one of these. As always, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome, and I will see you out there. Thank you for joining me on KillCo Whiskey Musings. You can find my social media and Patreon in the links below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.